If your erections have become weak, unreliable, or even non-existent, this may be the most important health message you'll hear all year, because aging isn't the only cause. The real issue, the foods you're eating every day, could be quietly sabotaging your manhood. As a surgeon who works with male anatomy daily, I can tell you this: what you put on your plate directly impacts the strength, blood flow, and vitality of your penis. And if you're over 60, this connection matters even more. With over 20 years of experience helping older men naturally regain control of their sexual health, I've seen what works and what doesn't firsthand. And today, I'm going to share something most doctors never mention. Here's the surprising truth. The very foods many seniors are told to limit for heart health, such as red meat, seeds, and certain leafy greens, can actually help restore blood flow to the penis, boost testosterone, and make you feel stronger, firmer, and more like yourself again. So, in the next few minutes, I'll reveal 3 specific foods, backed by clinical science, that can help make your erections rock hard, elevate your confidence, and bring your energy back. And the third food, almost no one talks about it, yet it could be the key to the best sex you've had in years. Let's dive in. Before we get into the powerful foods that can transform your erections and renew your confidence, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any vital health tips designed specifically for men over 60. And if this message resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0. That way, I'll know how to better serve you. Now that you understand the link between your diet and your performance, let's get to the heart of the matter. Because before we talk about testosterone, supplements, or even desire, we need to focus on one thing no erection can happen without: blood flow. Once you understand this, you'll see exactly why your performance has changed, and more importantly, how to reclaim it. Let's begin there. Why blood flow is everything for your erections. When I speak with men in their 60s and 70s, struggling with weak erections, or even total loss of function, the first thing I ask about isn't testosterone, stress, or medications, it's blood flow. Here's a truth most men never hear. An erection is, first and foremost, a blood flow event. It's not just about desire or stimulation. It's about whether your arteries can deliver enough blood to your penis fast enough and in strong enough volume to sustain a firm erection. That entire process depends on healthy, flexible, and clear blood vessels. Now, here's the difficult part. By the time many men reach their 60s, their arteries have been quietly under attack for decades. Years of processed foods, sugar, inactivity, and stress take their toll. Plaque builds up inside the arteries, narrowing them and restricting blood flow. At first, you might notice a slight drop in firmness. Then it becomes harder to stay hard. Eventually, your body can't get there at all. It's easy to blame aging, but I can't tell you how many men I've seen turn this around simply by improving their vascular health. I remember one patient, a 67-year-old retired teacher. He told me, "Doc, I thought my sex life was over. I figured this is just what happens to older men." But after changing just a few habits, especially his diet, he managed to reclaim what he thought was gone for good. His erections came back stronger, his energy soared, and most importantly, his confidence returned. That's the power of healthy circulation. It fuels your entire life, not just your heart, but also your bedroom. So, before turning to pills or expensive treatments, we need to address the real root of the problem. And here's the good news. You can support healthy blood flow naturally, simply by eating the right foods. In fact, the very first food I recommend to restore blood flow and support testosterone might surprise you, because it's something you've probably been told to avoid for years. But when it's prepared the right way, it becomes one of the most effective tools for improving your erections. Let's talk about it. Food number 1, grass-fed beef, the hormone restorer. Many of my older patients have walked into my office with the same belief: that red meat is bad for them. Doc, they'll say, I've cut back on beef like my doctor told me, but I still feel tired, sluggish, and disconnected in the bedroom. And every time I have to pause and gently explain that the problem isn't necessarily the beef itself, it's the kind of beef they've been eating, and what they're missing by cutting it out entirely. You see, grass-fed beef, clean, unprocessed, and naturally raised, is one of the most powerful foods for men's hormone health, especially after 60. It's packed with zinc, an essential mineral your body uses to produce testosterone, the hormone that drives energy, focus, libido, and the quality of your erections. It's rich in iron, which helps transport oxygen and blood to the muscles and tissues that matter. And it provides high-quality protein, the kind your body needs to repair, build, and maintain strength. I had a patient in his early 70s who had eliminated red meat from his diet entirely. He thought he was protecting his heart, but what he didn't realize was that his energy had plummeted, his testosterone had dropped, and his erections had gone from strong to almost non-existent. When we reintroduced grass-fed beef into his diet just twice a week, along with a few other adjustments, things began to shift. Within a month, his morning erections had returned, his drive improved, and most importantly, he felt like himself again. Now, I'm not talking about greasy fast food burgers or heavily processed meats. I'm talking about real grass-fed beef, perhaps topped with a slice of raw cheese, which is another excellent source of vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 plays a key role in keeping your arteries flexible and clear. It's simple, satisfying, and incredibly powerful. But beef is just one piece of the puzzle. To fully open up your blood vessels and supercharge circulation where it matters most, we need something fresh, green, and packed with natural nitric oxide. And here's the thing, most men walk right past it in the produce aisle without realizing what it can do. Let me show you. If you're still with me and these insights are resonating, drop a 1 in the comments to let me know you're here and taking this seriously. Now, let's keep going and dive into the second food that can help restore your energy and performance. Food number 2, arugula, the blood flow leaf. When it comes to leafy greens, most men think of spinach or kale. The blood flow leaf. When it comes to leafy greens, most men think of spinach or kale. But what if I told you that one of the most powerful plants for improving blood flow and restoring erections is something you've probably walked past dozens of times? At the grocery store, it's called arugula, light, peppery, and often overlooked. This humble leaf is what I like to call nature's blood flow booster. It might not look like much, but inside every bite lies a secret weapon, natural nitrates. Now, don't confuse these with the artificial nitrates found in processed meats. The nitrates in arugula are clean and plant-based. When you eat arugula, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide, a molecule that helps relax and open your blood vessels, allowing more blood to flow through. And as you now know, better blood flow means better erections. That's the heart of it. No blood flow, no erection. It's really that simple and that serious. I remember one patient in his late 60s, a retired Navy veteran. He told me he hadn't had a morning erection in years and was starting to feel like that chapter of his life was just over. We didn't start with prescriptions. We started with food. I asked him to add just 1 cup of arugula to his lunch every day. Nothing complicated, just fresh arugula with olive oil and lemon. After 2 weeks, he emailed me laughing. He said, "Doc, I think my wife might be more surprised than I am." Arugula is easy to add to your meals, but the effects run deep, relaxing your blood vessels, improving circulation, and supporting both your heart and your bedroom performance. It works fast, it works naturally, and it works without side effects. But improving blood flow is only half the equation. To fully support your erections, your body also needs the right minerals, especially as you get older. And that's where one small, often forgotten food can make a huge difference in how you feel and perform. Let's dive into it next. Food number 3, pumpkin seeds, the mineral powerhouse. Sometimes the most powerful things come in the smallest packages. That's exactly how I feel about pumpkin seeds. They're often tossed aside, forgotten after Halloween, or left sitting in the back of the pantry. But for older men, especially those struggling with low energy, weak erections, or chronic fatigue, these tiny seeds can be a game changer. Pumpkin seeds are what I call nature's mineral powerhouse. Inside each one is a perfect balance of nutrients that support not only your sexual health, but your overall vitality. They're especially rich in magnesium, one of the most common deficiencies I see in men over 60. Magnesium is essential for helping your blood vessels relax and expand, improving circulation exactly where it counts. It also helps lower cortisol, the stress hormone that quietly kills libido and interferes with arousal. Add in zinc, which supports testosterone, and selenium, which helps protect your prostate, and you've got a food that supports every aspect of male performance. One of my patients, a 72-year-old grandfather, came in feeling worn down and frustrated. He hadn't had a firm erection in over a year, and told me he just didn't feel like himself anymore. We looked at his blood work. His magnesium and zinc levels were both low. I had him start eating just a quarter cup of pumpkin seeds each day, raw and unsalted. He added them to his oatmeal in the morning, sometimes just grabbed a handful as a snack. 4 weeks later, he walked into my office with a grin I hadn't seen before. "Doc," he said, "I think I'm back." That's the power of minerals, when they're delivered the right way, through real food, not just pills. Pumpkin seeds are simple, affordable, and highly effective. And when combined with foods like grass-fed beef and arugula, they help create the perfect internal environment for stronger, more reliable erections. But there's still one final piece to this puzzle. A nutrient that doesn't come from your plate, but from the sky. And if you're lacking it, even the healthiest diet may not be enough. Let's take a closer look. If you're still watching and finding this information valuable, go ahead and comment 1 below to let me know you're following along. Now, let's move forward with point number 5. It's a simple yet powerful nutrient that most men overlook, and it could be the key to unlocking everything we've covered so far. Bonus tip: vitamin D3, the erection hormone. There's one crucial element to this puzzle that most men never consider. It's not a food you eat. It's not something you'll find in your spice rack or on your dinner table. It's a nutrient your body produces from sunlight. And without it, even the best foods can't fully do their job. I'm talking about vitamin D3, which I often call the erection hormone. Vitamin D3 plays an essential role in testosterone production and blood vessel function. It reduces inflammation, helps regulate blood pressure, and even boosts nitric oxide, the very molecule that allows your blood vessels to expand and deliver blood to your penis. Yet despite its importance, many older men are dangerously low in vitamin D and don't even know it. As we age, we tend to spend more time indoors. Our skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight. And before long, we're running at half capacity without realizing it. One of my longtime patients, 25-year-old widower, had tried everything to improve his sexual function. He was eating better, walking daily, and even taking herbal supplements, but nothing seemed to help. When I checked his vitamin D levels, they were alarmingly low. We added a daily dose of 5,000 IU of vitamin D3. And within weeks, he told me something had changed. He felt clearer, more energetic, and his nighttime erections, which he thought were long gone, had returned. It was a powerful reminder of how important this nutrient really is. Now, I always recommend getting 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight each day if possible. But for many older men, especially during colder months, a high-quality supplement is an easy and effective way to fill the gap. It's one of the simplest steps you can take to support not only your sexual health, but also your immune system, your energy, and your overall vitality. So now you've learned about the foods and nutrients that can transform your erections from the inside out. But how do you bring them all together into one simple, effective meal plan? Let me show you exactly what that looks like. Your erectile health meal. Now that you know the key foods and nutrients that support strong, healthy erections, the next question is, how do you combine them into a simple, sustainable routine? I've worked with countless men over the years. And the ones who experience the biggest transformations aren't the ones who attempt drastic overnight changes. The men who see real lasting change aren't the ones who try to overhaul their lives overnight. They're the ones who build consistency around just a few powerful habits. And it all starts with one meal. Picture this: a plate with 6 to 8 ounces of grass-fed beef, gently cooked, not overdone, to preserve those vital nutrients. Add a slice of raw cheese on top to give you an extra boost of vitamin K2, keeping your arteries clean and flexible. On the side, build a fresh salad with arugula as your base. Drizzle a little olive oil squeeze in fresh lemon juice, and if you'd like, add a pinch of garlic or some chopped walnuts for even more heart-healthy benefits. And don't forget, a small handful of raw, unsalted pumpkin seeds, full of magnesium and zinc. This simple combination gives your body the protein, minerals, healthy fats, and plant-based nitrates it needs to naturally restore blood flow and hormone balance. I've had men tell me that after just a few weeks of eating this meal 2 or 3 times a week, not only did their erections improve, they felt more energized, more focused, and more alive in every part of their lives. It's not about dieting, it's about nourishment, feeding your body what it's been craving for years. And when you combine this with daily sunlight or a high-quality vitamin D3 supplement, you're giving yourself every advantage to perform, feel, and live like the man you want to be. But even with all this powerful information, there's one final message I want to leave you with. A mindset shift that can reignite your confidence and reshape how you think about aging, intimacy, and manhood itself. Let's talk about that in this final message. Conclusion. If there's one message I hope you take away from everything we've covered, it's this: your body is still capable of healing, changing, and performing, not just in life, but in the bedroom. I have spent over 2 decades working with men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, and I can tell you, age does not mean the end of your vitality. You simply need to give your body the right tools. We've talked about why blood flow is the foundation of every erection, and how poor circulation, not just low testosterone, is often the hidden cause behind weak performance. You've learned how grass-fed beef can restore hormone levels and energy, how arugula boosts nitric oxide and opens your arteries, and how pumpkin seeds quietly fuel your body with the minerals it's been missing. You've seen how something as simple as vitamin D3 from sunlight or a supplement can reignite your system and bring life back to your drive. But beyond all that, I hope you understand that these aren't just nutrients, they are building blocks. They fuel your confidence, your masculinity, and your connection with your partner. When you put these foods together in a simple, consistent way, you're not just eating for your health, you're reclaiming a part of yourself that may have felt lost. I've seen men go from frustrated and defeated to energized and alive again just by making these small changes. And if they can do it, so can you. So here's what I want you to remember. This is your second prime. Your golden years don't have to be dull, disconnected, or diminished. They can be powerful, passionate, purposeful. You've got wisdom, experience, and heart. Now you just need the circulation and strength to match. Stay committed, stay hopeful, and most of all, stay in the fight. Because the best chapters of your life may still be ahead. If this message resonated with you, if it gave you clarity, hope, or even one useful idea, please take a moment to like this video so more men like you can find it. Share it with a friend, a brother, or someone you care about who might be struggling in silence. And if you have thoughts, experiences, or questions, drop them in the comments below. I read every single one. Your story could help someone else. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking charge of your health. And remember, it's never too late to reclaim your strength, your confidence, and your passion. I'm here with you every step of the way.